All right, good afternoon, folks. Welcome to today's session. My name is Sherman, and we will be looking at some of the top market setups in the next half an hour. Today is the 15th of May, Thursday, so it is the second last day of the trading week. So we're going to look at some of the setups for us to either trade for the remainder of this week or for the upcoming week. All right, I'm an FX strategist. I've been trading for over 9 years. So I specialize more in technical analysis as well as systematic trading using algorithms. Right, quick disclaimer, trading any forms of derivatives carries significant risk. Do ensure you understand what we're trying to go through today. Understand the risk before you make any trading decisions. Always start off with your demo accounts first before moving on to your live accounts. Okay, for those of you who are ready to start your live accounts with Vantage, right now for your first deposit, you get up to $500 credit or 50% of the first $1,000 you put in, and any subsequent deposits will get you an additional 10% credit. Right, so we're going to go through, I think we'll go through gold and then one on the index, and lastly, probably euro dollar before we end it off. Okay, so let's look at Go and see what's happening for the start of London. Okay, so I put in this indicator just to highlight the sessions. Okay, you do not need this indicator if you have the sessions highlighted already on your charts. Okay, so usually we want to look at pivot points. Okay, we have seen our pivot points yet. We mentioned this briefly yesterday. So let's look at this, okay? It's just a recap from yesterday. Okay, we were somewhere around here when we discussed it. We were expecting price to at least make it back up to this level before selling off today. But as you can see during the New York session, right? This is 2100 Singapore time. So this was the high of the New York session. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So this was New York AM. Okay. Singapore time was 8:30. Okay, as it's sold off. Okay, the highest that it came up to was around lunchtime in the noon before making a lower low. So once this was established, we probably wouldn't be able to find any more buyers above this level. And so this morning Asian session came Singapore time in the morning, M2. Okay, we are expecting at least up to M3 before we get a good selling point. And M3 again will be our opening of the New York session. Okay, so we're expecting something from here, but we broke down below this level. So this would be our new resistance, and we will probably not expect prices to come back up to this level here early. Okay, so first start of London session, we have been selling off. Okay, so essentially you can see this downward move, and this was the first upwards movement. Okay, usually for the first retracement, we do not want to expect this to be a reversal. So what we tend to do is this creates that boundary or the channel, upper channel for us to know that this is where we will be selling. And what we can expect if we want prices to break up higher is to at least get it down back into this area before we push up like this. Okay. So again, we want to see the end of this 1 hour. Can we feel the buyers who were pushing the price up in the last hour? Okay, prior to this 3 p.m. Okay, you have very aggressive buyers pushing it up to this level here. Okay, as long as it maintains below this high, okay, we want to see if this group of buyers does in fact looking to push prices back up into this area. Okay, otherwise a clear setup would be for it to actually retrace back down into this group of buyers. Okay, this is a bunch of buyers. And we use the wick as a form of a gauge because the wick tells us that there were multiple sellers trying to sell from this strong downward trend at 2 p.m. Singapore time, and they were immediately brought into a loss or a stop out by all of these buyers. So this group of buyers they are basically the ones in profit. Okay, this is one group of profit. One group of traders were in profit, and the other group who were in profit today would be the Asian highs, the Asian sellers who sold up at this high. Okay, so if the Asian sellers here decided to double down and push all of these buyers out, then we can potentially see the same magnitude. So whatever that you missed out here, whatever that we have missed out in this area here, okay, we will expect a similar momentum down to at least 30.75. Okay, and that will bring us below M1, S2, giving us a bearish setup for tomorrow as well. Okay, so if this group of buyers are in fact either they were the sellers right at the top and they were taking profit, and this gives us a push back up to this level here again, then we will still expect price to get back down into this area, because if this were profit takers, then the new buyers will come in on the second or third run, okay, before we make our way back up to this area and sell off again tomorrow morning. Oh, sorry, for those of you who are on the stream, you were not able to see the charts. All right, apologies for that. Let me just repeat that again. So this was where we were yesterday at 8 p.m. during the stream. We were expecting price to get back up to 32.35, this area here. Okay, did not make that high. New York high was this level here, and you can see that the lower low was created, and we went back up to touch the high of New York before this sell-off. So this might either be profit taking or new buyers trying to buy in. Okay, so what I mentioned, two cases, these are profit takers. If these are profit takers, then actual buyers will come in on the second and third run, and we'll try to target 31.90. If this was in fact new buyers, okay, and they get pushed out by the second wave, third wave sellers from here, then we will expect the price, the same magnitude to get us to about 30.75. Okay, and that will break below M1, S2. Okay, overall on the higher time frame, where are we on the monthly? Okay, we are at M2. So M2 in an uptrend, we are looking to buy in M2, but we usually want that entry to be at least in the first 2 weeks of the month, which we are still in the first 2 weeks of the month. So if we do in fact get a bullish push above this downward trend, and we will need very negative news for that to happen. Okay, so far, if you're following the news, there has been quite a bit of positive news in terms of the tariffs, in terms of conflicts. I think Russia and Ukraine are looking for a ceasefire. Right, so a couple of really good news coming up. And if people are bullish, then you will see gold as a safe haven losing its value. Okay. But anyway, gold has been running up quite a bit over the last couple of months. Okay, and we are still very keen on this move here. So at least down to about 2,700, that would be our strong conviction buy. Okay, otherwise we are in fact in this move here. Okay, and even if we break out of this move here, this is a May. Okay, you can see that it's only in May that we have created this move here. No, this is 1 week. So this is only in 2025 that I created this move. So breaking out of this move will be very, very bearish. Okay. We are right smack at the support of this 2025 move right now. Okay, so whenever we are at this support, what do we want to see? The move to the upside has to be explosive. So we will at least want to see break of 2 levels. So I've highlighted one area here. Okay, this is on the 1 hour. Okay, but if you look at anything above the hour, okay, you'll see that this has been a continuous sell-off on the 4 hours, and our closest is this level here, and the daily is around this level here. So I'm just going to use the daily. Okay, we will have to break out of this level here to be bullish on gold. Okay, so stepwise, we have to go up here, break out. Okay, this would be considered the secondary trend. Okay, the primary trend is still a downtrend, but breaking out of this downward trend will give us a bullish movement, bullish upward trend. Okay, so breaking out of the 1 hour highs from today, okay, will give us a bullish move for gold. Till then, every start of the high volume period, so like London start and as well as our New York start, we will be looking for highs and selling off from there. Okay, so let's look at the build up for today. So London, you have this downward move. This group of buyers broke off from this last group of sellers. So ideally say this is pretty bullish. Okay, right now we are broken past another downward trend. So we will be looking to bid up higher at every piece. So if we break above this high again, this will be where we're looking to bid. Okay, this again touch a very key area. Okay, the last group of offers that came in here looking to push the price down further. Okay, they got stopped out, gave us this void. If all the sellers would come in here, right? This point here basically shows that there was a group of sellers that were ready to push the price even lower. They failed to make that lower low, break above, and as it comes back, it reacts off this zone, showing that there are no more sellers willing to push it below. And in fact, buyers double down and push it higher. So we will be looking for strong entries in this area here. Okay. So we want to see something like this and then back down before we hit up higher. Here's structure on the 1 minute. This is microstructures already. So by the time it comes up to this level here, okay, if it breaks below this, this is a bearish move, right? So no matter what, this is a clear buy for us. If you're trading on the 1 minute, again, this was your first retracement, second retracement, and you know that breaking below this is going to be bearish for you. So if it breaks below this and it forms, retraces 100% back down to this level here, then we'll probably be bearish. So if you're a bullish move here, this is your a chance to buy up higher. Okay. But bear in mind the overall trend today, it's down. So we want to look for a discount. What's that discounted price? The discounted price is 50% from today's high to the low. And we want to see that level act as a resistance. Okay, which is roughly around here. So even if you buy, you can scalp this buy up into this level here, but you're not going to get a lot of movement. Okay. Or you might say, okay, this might be a buy up to this level. Right. So this would be your ultimate level. This will be your first TP if you're buying. Okay. 1 minute. Yep. This is your 1 minute chart. You got to take a position here if you're a buyer. And why are we buying? Sellers failed, retested. This breaks out from the downward channel and pushes up. It came back to retrace to this level. This would be the opportunity for us to buy now. Okay. Let's take a look at NASDAQ. We talked about this yesterday. Okay. So NASDAQ, seemingly, yesterday we were talking about selling off from there, and this seems like the obvious move, but there isn't any strong fundamental reason why it is going to go back down to 20,000 or below. Okay, so we are still watching out for those any news coming out from the US to give us that strong conviction that we will be selling off. But if we do in fact sell off, then we are expecting we've got to break this this previous high, okay, and then back up before we hit down lower. Okay, if it doesn't break this and this becomes a void for sellers, which means that a price comes into this level and we do not see a cut through this area, okay, and it starts to edge back up, okay, this is probably going to get us break past this high because this group of sellers are pretty weak. Okay, so again, what's the significance of this area? This area is your previous double top. Sellers failed to make a lower low, and so a gap was created. Okay, in fact, the gap is around here. This is the 1 hour gap, but I think on the low time frame, you can find a cleaner gap. Okay, so the cleaner gap is here. This high to this low here. Okay. So if price does not react into this level here, then we will probably expect strong buyers here. And same thing, whenever we dip into a buy zone, we will want that downward trend to be broken. Okay. Once the downward trend is broken, this entire area will be our buy entry. Okay, so this is NASDAQ 100. Something similar to it will be your S&P 500. So same thing, we are expecting a gap to be filled. This is the gap that we want it to be filled. Okay, we highlighted this key area here. Let's remove this. Okay, what is this key area? This key area was the last up candle on the daily before the announcements of the tariffs in March. There was a delay of 30 days to April, and then once we got into April, 3rd of April, that was where the sell-off happens. Okay, so this was, if you can think of it as a reset point, okay, if we came all the way down and up into this area, there were buyers or holders of the S&P 500, right, who cut loss or got off the market, okay, and if they entered, right, they would have recovered their losses, and as it comes back up into this area, this will be the point of value where, previously most of these stocks were considered overvalued. Okay, right now we're back up into this area again. Okay, so we can expect some sort of rejection of this level to cover up this gap, and if it does not allow the sellers to push price even lower, at least back down to this support, this is going to break out and we're going to see a higher S&P 500. Okay, same thing, a few highs that were broken previously, which means that sellers tried to push it lower and then they got stopped out. So you're going to see that this entire area is going to be void of sellers, right? And if it's void of sellers, you will not be able to push the price down. Right? Last but not least, let's look at euro dollar before we look at some of the other instruments. Okay, so before we look at the euro dollar, let's look at the dollar index since that is correlated, right? So, okay, so key turning point here is this move like this. Okay, so we have, I mean, this is again what I've drawn, might not be accurate, but to that, this is breakout from, yes, this Monday, right? The last Monday. And we tested this, broke above this high, kind of give us the strong conviction that dollar might be seeing some sort of relief. Okay, as always, you have a primary downtrend and a secondary uptrend. Okay, so we probably might see something like this, and depending on where that goes, either up or down. But right now we are seeing a break out of a norm, break out of this channel here, and into this this area here. So if we do something like this, then this becomes the primary trend, okay, and the secondary trend becomes smaller. This will no longer be the primary trend any longer. Okay, and the daily coincides with the weekly, because as you go up higher, you can see there isn't any bigger boundary more than the daily. So we basically can say this channel is very solid. The daily actually constructs the weekly and the monthly. Even if I go up to the monthly, you can see that it is 3 straight months of a downward move. Okay, so the daily is a very strong channel here. And we have quite a bit of buyers buying up the dollar yesterday, towards yesterday's London and towards yesterday's New York time. Okay, so quite a bit of buyers of the dollar yesterday. And we still see some buying power here. So depending on this 4 hours, okay, can we actually fill this week? If we fill this week, then we'll probably go head down lower. If we close above the highs or the close of this candle here, then we potentially can see a higher high. Okay, so if dollar is going up, euro dollar will be coming down. Okay, so what is the downward move for euro dollar? This will be the move here. Okay, the gap was filled yesterday. Yeah, Wednesday. So gap here, this gap here, forwards gap, filled up. So any strong selling of the euro has already been filled. This is back to balance. We are going to reset this move here. So we're going to reset this move here. Okay, means that and you have a lot of selling pressure from here. We're potentially going to see this sort of move happening. We have quite a couple more minutes. So again, this is in line with the dollar index moving upwards. So if the dollar index move upwards, your euro dollar will be hitting down lower. Let's look at silver. So this was what we were looking at yesterday. So kind of like if we were taking the bias from this wick here, we have broken down below this level. But what we'll be more interested in is actually this selling from this high here. Okay, so you can see equal lows forming from this low here. There might be a chance that we will be looking to buy up. Okay. Again, okay, two key channels were created. Okay, so for us to do that, it's going to take some time. I don't think this is going to happen this week. Okay, but we are bearish on commodities, right? We're bearish on silver and gold. Okay, but gold has seen a quicker sell-off than silver. So essentially, if you are doing a pair trading co-integration sort of trading methodology, you will be selling gold and buying silver. Okay, and your target, you'll probably be buying up all the way from this level here, all the way down to this area here, while selling the other end on gold. Okay. Otherwise, if you're taking an outright for silver, the analysis still holds. We are in this very big range. And we are looking to sell the top here and buy the bottom. Okay, because the last point that was touched was here, and then the last point that was touched was here. So the next point that we are probably going to hit towards is this area here. Okay, so as long as we maintain within this triangle, we want us the actual move or the clear indication will either be a breakout or break below it. All right, cool. Let's look at gold again. Where are we with gold? Okay, trying to bid up higher. Okay. Yeah, this is I would say something like this. I'll probably wait till New York to kind of enter this trade. Okay. So for you guys, I think for a clear-cut move, uh look at the previous day low, because if you're on the daily, then this will be act as some sort of resistance. Okay. So while we're creating this higher high, okay, this is usually a move caused by a quick sell-off. So when you have a quick sell-off, okay, the counterparties of the panic sellers, okay, they are going to buy up all of these orders here, right? So someone has to buy up all these orders. So if in general everyone is looking to sell, then the market makers will need to absorb this buy orders. So at some point in time, they are going to halt the selling, or essentially how they're going to do it is they're going to create worse off pricing for sellers to sell lower, okay, and force them to execute their buy stops. Okay, so if I'm accumulating the buys as a market maker, I will want and force new sellers to execute their buy stops at a higher price and take inventory off my hands. So in that scenario, you will usually see a pattern like this where we will be gradually rinsing and flushing until we get back up to the point where that sell-off happens and the algo gets triggered to absorb any of these sell orders in the market, right? So once they're out of this market, we can potentially see a bigger move to the downside. Okay, the size of this move is going to be the size of this move here, roughly. Okay, so that gets us just now I was saying 3075. Yeah. But let's be conservative. I think the move will be about 3111. Cool. So we did one index, one dollar pair, DXY as well as gold. So yeah. So that's all I have for you guys today. If you guys have any other instruments, for those of you who are interested, can stick around. We can go through maybe one or two more instruments if you have something in mind. Otherwise, that's all for today. Be sure to check out all of the past webinars at vantagemarkets.com/academy/live. And if you have any questions regarding the live analysis, feel free to email support@vantagemarkets.com. All right, with that, all the best to the upcoming trading session. I'll see you guys again next week.